Hey guys. All right, so we are going to start notes on World War One today, which is also called the Great War. So today we're going to talk about the causes of the war, what led to it starting, and then later on this week we'll kind of get into what it was like for soldiers fighting during the war. So before and after World War One, Europe looked completely different. Let me move this really quick. Before World War One, Europe consisted of these large countries and empires. So Austria-Hungary, the German Empire, Russia. After World War One, all of these empires are broken up. So Austria-Hungary, nowhere to be found right here. You have Austria and Hungary. And then you have all these other countries that are a part of it. Russia loses land. Got Poland right here. Poland is not here before. So Europe looks completely different after World War One. So I just wanted y'all to see this really quick and to see some of the big contenders that are going to be fighting, like Germany and Austria-Hungary. All right. That's not what I wanted to do. I don't know what I did. Okay, so there are 4 main causes of World War I, and that is how you can remember them, the word main. So the first one is militarism. The second is alliances. The third is imperialism. And the fourth is nationalism. So militarism, this is the process of building up a strong military to prepare for war. Before World War I, lots and lots of European countries thought it would be in their best interest to build up these strong militaries. So to convince all these people to join the army, to increase their weapons, because they thought, it looks like we could be going to war. We all want to conquer all this new territory and become more powerful countries than everyone else in Europe. So in order to do that, we need to have a stronger military. Second one is alliances. So an alliance is an agreement between nations to provide aid and protect one another. So it's like your friends. So if one country goes to war, their allies have to go to war too, because they made an agreement to protect one another. So it'd be like if, so let's say someone punched my sister. Well, I am her ally. So if she gets in a fight, I've got to get in a fight with her because she is my ally. Do not get in fights. I'm not encouraging it. Y'all are too good for fights. I'm just saying that's what it would be like. It'd be like your sister getting in a fight, and so you have to get in a fight too to defend her, or your brother. Now, the 2 sides during World War I were called the Central Powers and the Triple Entente, or Allies. So these are your 2 groups of alliances. The Central Powers, or the big countries in the Central Powers, were Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. And the Allies, the big countries in the Allies, were England, France, and Russia. Now, eventually, the U.S. joins, and they join the Allies, but they don't join the war until it's almost over. And also, Italy eventually switches sides, too, because they realized they were on the losing side, so they were like, let's get over there. So these are maps of the alliances. So we have Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. This is the Central Powers right here. And then we have the Allies, so Russia, Britain, and France. Now, imperialism. We just talked about imperialism, so you should know what this is. So it is when powerful countries try to dominate other countries. You try to take over parts of another country for their raw materials and their resources. And because all these European powers were trying to take over parts of Africa and Asia, they were already upset with each other and angry with each other. They were already rivals in a way because they'd already been fighting over this land in Africa and Asia. And last one is nationalism. So nationalism is a patriotic feeling towards your country or region. Now, some ethnic groups, so some people who had like the same beliefs and they were born in the same area, they thought, we should be our own country. So it'd kind of be like if South Carolina wanted to be their own country. So you had a lot of these groups in Europe, and they all kind of felt that way. Like, we have our own beliefs, we have our own language, we should be our own country. We shouldn't be part of Austria-Hungary. We should have our own country. And this is part of the reason why all those new countries form after World War I, because of these nationalist feelings. So how, though, does this lead to World War I? What causes World War I to start? So we're going to focus on two big countries for the start of World War I. So we have Austria-Hungary, which is right here, and Serbia. And I don't know how to get rid of this thing, guys, so let's see. Nope, that's not it. Maybe it'll go away. So Austria-Hungary and Serbia are the ones we're going to talk about right now. So what caused World War I? What was the spark? What was the main thing that caused it to start? Now, these countries were already upset with each other. It already looked like it could start. This was just the final thing. This was what officially made it start. So the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, so the person who was supposed to be emperor next, was Franz Ferdinand, who's in these pictures down here with his wife, Sophie. Now, Franz Ferdinand and Sophie, they were in Serbia visiting. Austria-Hungary was in control of Serbia. They were kind of doing like a victory tour. They were supposed to go around Serbia, meet all these important people, and just show off their power. Well, while they're there, they get assassinated. And this is what eventually leads to World War I. Now, Franz and Sophie, they were a very happy couple. They loved each other very much. They had a family. Franz's dad did not like Sophie. She was not technically a royal, and so he married beneath her. And usually she had to ride in a separate car than her husband. So if you look back here, their tour, they were going on a parade. They were driving in a parade, basically, and they were riding in the same car. Usually they weren't allowed to because Sophie was considered beneath Franz. But they're riding in the same car. So what exactly happens to them? So Franz and Sophie get to Serbia, and they're supposed to take part in this parade. Well, while they are taking part in this parade, this man right here, Gavrilo Princip, who is a member of the group called the Black Hand, which is a terrorist group, shoots them. Now, that is not the original plan. So Gavrilo Princip is, he's one of the few people who were supposed to try and assassinate Sophie and Franz. So Sophie and Franz, while they are on this parade, one of Gavrilo Princip's friends throws a bomb at their car. The thing is, the bomb hits the car, bounces off, rolls under the car in front of them, and then explodes. So Franz and Sophie are okay. And the people in the car in front of them are okay. They're just injured and have to go to the hospital. So that doesn't work. Now, the guy who threw the bomb, he knew he was going to get caught. So he decided to take a cyanide pill, which is supposed to kill you, and then jump into the river. Well, the cyanide pill was out of date, so it didn't kill him. And the river was really, really low, so that didn't kill him either. So he got caught. So Franz and Sophie continue on their way, and they decide, we should go visit those people in the hospital because, obviously that was meant for us. We feel bad for them. Let's go visit them. So they decide to go visit them. On their way to go visit them, they end up turning down a side road, or their driver turns down a side road. And who is on that side road? Gavrilo Princip. So Gavrilo Princip is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my luck. They weren't supposed to be here. What are they doing? So he shoots Sophie and Franz and kills them both. Now, he said, I was just trying to kill Franz. I wasn't trying to kill Sophie, but he shot them both. So he shot Franz in the head, and he shot Sophie in the abdomen. So you can see the blood right here. Now, Gavrilo Princip did get caught, and he ended up going to jail, and he was supposed to serve life in prison, but he ended up dying a few years into it. He got sick and died after only 4 years. So this was a newspaper article from New York. It said, heir to the Austrian throne assassinated, wife by his side also shot to death. Earlier attempt on their lives failed. So that would have been the car bombing that didn't work. But they were killed. I want to think Franz died first, and then Sophie died not too long after. Now, how did this lead to World War I? Oh, wait, look at there. Before we get there, who is that cool person standing in front of the car that Franz and Sophie were killed in? That was me. So in October, when I was gone for a week, this is where I was. I was in Austria, and I went and saw the car they were killed in, which sounds kind of weird, but it was pretty neat. And this is actually the outfit that Franz was wearing when he died, in the ottoman that he was laying on. So if you look closely, you can see the bloodstains on his outfit. So you're right, you have a cool teacher. All right, so how did this lead to World War I between Austria-Hungary and Serbia? So this is a lot. You obviously do not have to know all of this. I just wanted to lay it all out for you to see. So Austria blamed Serbia for what happened. And they gave Serbia a list of ultimatums saying, like, you're at fault. You need to do all this stuff if you want us to forgive you. Well, Serbia is like, oh, no, we're not doing that. And so Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia, and their allies back them up. So Germany is Austria's ally, so they immediately go to war, and Russia is Serbia's ally, so they immediately go to war. So Austria declares war on Serbia, and then all of their allies go to war too. Now the U.S. decides to remain neutral, and our president, who's right down here at the bottom, Woodrow Wilson, he's the one who says, this is a foreign conflict. We're not going to get involved in this. And eventually we do, but not until 1917, only a year before the war ends. Excuse me. What did I do? Okay. So the war starts, and this is what it looks like. So Germany, Austria-Hungary, Italy are the Central Powers, and Russia, France, and Britain are the Allies. All right, so we are going to stop here. I just wanted y'all to kind of know how the war started. Later on this week, we'll talk about what life was like fighting and that kind of stuff. So I will see y'all later. When I figure out how to get off of this.